So here in the truck we've elected to use the Hardkorr lighting. The reason I opted to go for the Hardkorr lighting is because they're tri-coloured. You've got your white light, you've got your yellow light, and it's got sort of like an amber light somewhere in between that keeps the bugs away. Now when you're in the environment where you've got lots of bugs, the white light does attract them. If there's not so many bugs, you can put on that sort of intermediate amber light, or if you've got lots of bugs you can put on the yellow light and it sort of resolves all that. So let's just go through a few things. What we've got on here is over this side is our, I guess, our switch panel for the Hardkorr lighting. All the lights on the truck are Hardkorr. I guess before I go into it, why we selected it was because there was nothing on the market that I felt fitted our needs. The Hardkorr lights themselves, they come in a nice strip that looks well presented. It was easy to mount to the canopy. It was also plug and play more or less, so you just had to plug the wires in. And I also was happy with the finishes of the switches and that come with it. And not to mention the sort of reliability that Hardkorr bring with it. Since we've had them on now, it's probably been around 6 months, we've been really happy with it. I've made it a few upgrades as we've gone, which I'll cover a bit later on, but for now I'll just show you the switch panel. So over here, like anything, you've just got your lights. So we've got a switch for the inside or outside lights. So once we turn those on, that then brings the Hardkorr switch panels up to light. They're pretty simple, so to turn them on you just simply hit the on switch and the light comes on. You push the switch and the light turns off. If you want it to change colour, you just hit the other one and it flicks through the modes of the switch, so it's fairly simple. Up the top here you can either push up to bright, or we can go down to dim the light, which is quite handy at night too. So if you're sitting around the campfire, you don't have excessive light making it quite bright. So when it does get a little bit darker, we'll get some footage of how bright these lights are and just show you how they do brighten and dim back down. So quite simple to use. These panels now, these fellas are now available. They've actually got a wireless remote that fits the smarts actually fit inside the switch, so it's just placed like for like, and you can have a remote control to turn them on and off remotely. We're not going to worry about it here in the truck. We're just basically going to keep them as a switch. Anyway, I'll go through some of the special features that we've actually got here on the lights for the trucks. In the back we also have a tri-coloured light. This fella here, it's good because it illuminates up in the back cargo area for us, so if we need to access any fuses or any of the electrical gear, we can do, which is in behind that. We can also see if we need to operate the TV or pull out the shower tent, so quite a little handy light. This space here too, we can also put in a little mattress, and it can be a sleeping quarters for one as well, so that gives them a bit of a light while they're in there. This fella also is a tri-coloured light, so it's got the white light, the amber light, and the orange light, so depending on the bugs, and we can also brighten or dim them up as required. So here at the back of the truck, this is our barbecue light. It illuminates the barbecue below. Now this fella here, what we've opted to do with this one is I've actually hooked it up to a Bluetooth app. So if we're laying in bed at night and we hear a noise, we can actually turn this on or off via our Bluetooth. So not only does it operate from the switch that we showed you earlier, but also, you can, as I said, turn it on and off with the app. The app won't allow us to tri-colour, it just allows us to turn it simply on, off, or dim the light if required. So that's our fella over the barbecue. It's like our night light. Now while we're talking about night lights, wait till you see this cool feature. So here at the back of the truck and on the sides of the trucks, we've got these little fellas here. They're actually motion sensors. Now I've put them, as I said, one at the back and one on each side. What we do is we leave those on at night for a number of reasons. One is if we're sitting around the campfire and we don't want to waste battery light and have to worry about turning switches on and off, and you want to jump up and grab a beer out of the fridge, the light will automatically come on for you as you approach. So if you get within 4 to 6 metres of the truck, the light comes on, illuminates, and then a minute later the light turns out like any other motion sensor light. With this one, I've actually on the bottom of it, I've made a custom box to fit that light sensor in, which I've made waterproof, and I've also fitted a switch on the bottom so I can override actually override the light. So if you want to leave it on all the time, I just hit the switch and then that comes on. Now this back one, again, I'll show you the lights that we've got up there. They're the tri lights as well, but they act as a mini floodlight, so they can illuminate the whole campground. But also, like our other camping lights, we can dim them down or brighten them up to meet our requirements. We can also change the colour as well, so we can make it the yellow, or we can make it the white, depending on the bugs or how you want to set the light for around your campsite. Anyway, let's have a look at these fellas on the side. So here on the side of the truck, we've also got a motion sensor, as I mentioned before. On this motion sensor, I've got the same box that I created at the back. So on the side here, we've also got the switch that we can turn them on, off. We can either have them on motion, if you like, when I say on, off, or we can have them so they're permanently on all the time. Now these lights here off this motion sensor, it's actually activated from inside the cab. We've fitted the Isuzu genuine switch to turn these fellas on. So if you're out four-wheel driving at night, those lights are activated up the top on the canopy, as you can see in the footage, up on the rack, and it can illuminate the side of the truck at night, which gives you that nice light. So if you need to go around a corner, or you know your lights are pointing straight in front, you can't see around corners obviously, that gives you that light that illuminates around the corner. So that's why we opted to have them switched on and off from inside the cab. So what we simply do for these fellas is we switch them on in the cab with the on and off switch. We can then operate them from our campsite using our normal Hardkorr touch switch, and then from there we can either have it on sensor, motion sensor, or we can just have them on all the time. Really are a fantastic feature. We also have these on the other side of the truck as well. On the back of the truck, we've got these handles. Now these handles actually illuminate blue at night. I'll put in a bit of footage of what they look like there at night. They're fantastic because we can leave them on all night, and if you need to get in or out of the truck, you simply you can easily see where the handles are. It also gives us enough light just to illuminate the immediate area. They're controlled from inside. These aren't Hardkorr lights, these are just specials on eBay. We do have a switch up here which we can just simply turn on or off to turn those lights on, so we can control them from outside as well. So as we saw earlier, we've got that the main switch where we have the lights that control the lights on this side of the truck. This fella up the front here next to the fridges, that actually controls the one on the roof rack. So what we usually do is we leave this setting on so it's on white high all the time. So if we do opt to have it on in the truck, whenever we switch it on, it's always on as bright as it is, so it helps light up while we're driving at night. Alternatively, like we do any other light, we can switch it, dim it, change the colour or whatever from this switch here. Anyway, let's have a look on the other side and see what switches we've got. So here on the other side of the truck, you can see we've got the two switches. This front switch one, it controls the canopy light that we've got up the top, and that other one controls the light at the back, at the rear of the truck, which we went through earlier. So that's for there, and that's for the other side. One more to go, let's have a look at that one. I did say one more, didn't I? Well, in fact, there's two more. We've got the fella here that feeds the canopy for our toolbox section, and then we've also got old mate above it. Now that one there, that's for the front light on the rack as well. So we went through the one on the other side, that's the one on this side. That illuminates that fella there. So what's that give us? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives us 10. We got 10 of these Hardkorr controllers around this truck. So we've got 10 controllers, 10 lights, and we've also got 10 controllers, 10 lights and 3 motion sensors that make up the lighting on this truck for our camp lights. We have got Nava lights at the front which we use for our driving lights. We'll go into them some other time, but there you go. So we've made use of the Hardkorr product on this, and we are thrilled to bits with it. And customising the sensors that we do have, again, extremely happy with how those sensors work. I'll show you some footage there as I'm talking about it, hopefully if the light's coming on at night, so you can get a bit of an idea of how they work. So anyway, that's the lighting system on the truck. I will come back through and do a more comprehensive one on the electric side, because I know a lot of people have been asking that about the whole one, but I just thought I'd do one on the lighting today to kick us off. Alright guys, until next time, Jono and Ange, J&A Down Under.